I'm happy that the fight is here, but I'm not satisfied until my hand is raised July 29th.
Are you ready for the boxing match of the decade? Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford are set to face off in what could be one of the biggest fights in recent history. Fans and critics alike are buzzing with excitement and anticipation for this highly anticipated showdown. And in this video, we'll dive into the details of what makes this fight so special and why you don't want to miss it. Get ready to witness two of the greatest boxers of our time go head-to-head in a battle for the ages. Without any further ado, let's dive into it. We find ourselves in a familiar situation once again. Let's not forget the excitement that engulfed the boxing world last summer when ESPN's Mike Coppinger broke the news that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. had agreed to unify their welterweight titles, setting the stage for an epic showdown right before Thanksgiving. But as fate would have it, that fight never materialized. So forgive us if we approach this week's news cautiously, courtesy of Coppinger once again, announcing that these two formidable fighters have reached an agreement, this time to clash at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas on July 29. Terence Crawford's pulling out all the stops to promote his bout with Errol Spence Jr. for the undisputed welterweight championship. In an interview with TMZ Sports, Crawford declared that this highly anticipated matchup could be the most significant fight in over a decade. No one can deny that a face-off between arguably the two best pound-for-pound fighters in the world is an enormous occasion. With an impressive combined record of 67 wins, including 52 knockouts, these fighters have etched their names into the annals of boxing history. From a purely competitive standpoint, Crawford vs. Spence has the potential to become the most momentous boxing match of the past 10 years. What you need to know. If this fight finally happens as planned, there's no denying that much of the conversation surrounding it will revolve around whether it should have taken place years ago. We've seen this storyline before with Mayweather and Pacquiao. However, regardless of the timing, we have to acknowledge that we're witnessing a clash between the two best welterweights in the world and two of the sport's most exceptional pound-for-pound fighters. And that, my friends, is something to be excited about. It doesn't matter how long it took for the showdown to materialize. What matters is that we finally get to see these two exceptional athletes face off. According to the ring's rankings, Spence holds the first position at 147 pounds, while Crawford follows closely behind at second. However, when it comes to the pound-for-pound list, Crawford edges ahead at the third spot, with Spence sitting just behind him at fourth. Together, they have a total of 12 successful title defenses, with each fighter boasting 6 victories in this regard. Crawford's firmly held onto the WBO title, while Spence added the WBC and WBA belts to the IBF title he claimed from Brook. Tale of the tape. First up, we have Errol Spence Jr. With an impressive record of 28 wins and no losses, he's proved his dominance in the ring. Out of those 28 victories, 22 have come by way of knockout, showcasing his devastating power. Standing at a height of 5'9.5" and weighing in at approximately 146.25 pounds, Spence possesses a solid build for the welterweight division. His reach extends to 72 inches, allowing him to effectively land punches from a distance. Next, we have Terence Crawford. Crawford boasts an impeccable undefeated record of 39 wins, with an impressive 30 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Standing at 5'8" and weighing approximately 146.5 pounds, Crawford may be slightly shorter than Spence, but he compensates with his remarkable skills. His reach extends to 74 inches, and at 35 years old, Crawford brings a wealth of experience and ring wisdom to this bout. Boxing ability. When it comes to their fighting styles, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford each bring their own unique approaches to the ring. Spence may not embody the relentless pressure of fighters like Arturo Gatti or Ray Mancini, but he possesses a subtle and effective form of aggression. His strong southpaw jab and solid footwork lay the groundwork for his attacks. He skillfully sets up left-hand shots to the head and body, showcasing his versatility. What sets Spence apart is his ability to work effectively on the inside, a skill not often associated with traditional boxers. Moreover, Spence's mastery of fundamental footwork allows him to establish distance in a methodical manner. Spence knows how to control the ring and exploit his opponent's weaknesses. On the other side of the ring, we have Terence Crawford, who shares some similarities with Spence, but brings his own distinct flair. Crawford, a southpaw by trade, seamlessly shifts stances with an agility unmatched by other welterweights. He's a true master of range, which means he doesn't need to constantly move around the ring or mindlessly charge forward. Crawford excels at positioning himself in just the right proximity to land shots while also baiting opponents into overcommitting. Once they make that mistake, he swiftly counters with his own well-timed offense. Crawford's style is not defined by overwhelming punch rates, but rather by consistent activity and well-timed bursts of aggression when openings present themselves. This ability to capitalize on decisive openings is a testament to Crawford's ring intelligence and composure. Punching power. While both Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford have an impressive knockout rate, it's unlikely that either of them would be considered among the sport's top power hitters. Their knockout victories are often the result of sustained pressure and activity over several rounds, rather than relying solely on single highlight reel shots. When we examine Spence's record, we find that 4 of his 6 knockouts in 12-round fights occurred in round 6 or beyond. Similarly, Crawford's gone into the 6th round or later in 11 out of his 14 inside-the-distance wins in 12-round fights. Porter, who went the distance with Spence in 2019 and was stopped by Crawford in 2021, rates Spence's power as superior due to the damage inflicted by his single shots, contrasting with Crawford's power, which derives more from his whip-like speed. He explains, "I'm not saying that Errol's slow, but his punches are going to wear you down over the course of rounds. With Terence, it kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's because of his speed." Porter believes that the most intriguing aspect of this fight is how people perceive the power of these fighters, with the misconception that they grow stronger as the fight progresses. Defensive ability. While Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford may not employ defensive techniques on par with boxing legends like Willie Pep, Pernell Whitaker, or Floyd Mayweather Jr., it's no coincidence that both fighters boast undefeated records and may have rarely found themselves in danger of losing. Clearly, they're doing something right. Spence's defensive approach revolves around his high guard stance and effective counterpunching. Moreover, he excels at minimizing the punishment he takes on the inside by skillfully catching and countering incoming blows. On the other hand, Crawford's a master of sublime footwork. Whether he's moving in straight lines, pivoting to either side, or shifting laterally, his footwork's impeccable. It allows him to avoid sustained volleys of punches and make it challenging for opponents to land clean shots. When assessing their defensive capabilities, it's difficult to give either fighters a distinct advantage. X factors. Spence's X factor. Will the recent inactivity matter? Assuming the fight actually takes place in late July, it's worth noting that Errol Spence Jr. will have fought only 3 times in the past 4 years. This limited activity is due to a combination of injuries, as well as the numerous starts and stops associated with the much-anticipated showdown against Terence Crawford. These factors have undoubtedly impacted his career and raised questions about his ability to perform at the highest level. To be fair, prior to his victory over Danny Garcia in December 2020, Spence had no issues with prolonged periods of inactivity. However, it's important to recognize that Crawford's likely to demand more from Spence than his previous opponents did. The question that remains is whether Spence still possesses the answers and skills required to excel at the highest level of the sport. Crawford's X factor. Can he be a successful smaller man? Standing at 5 foot 8 inches tall with a 74-inch reach, Crawford's not to be underestimated in the welterweight division. However, Errol Spence Jr. has the advantage in terms of height and natural size. Having competed at 152 pounds in the 2012 Olympics, Spence possesses a naturally bigger frame. It'll be intriguing to see how Crawford handles the punches from someone rumored to rehydrate to weights as high as 160 pounds or more by the time the opening bell rings. Both Crawford and Spence are still in their athletic prime and have showcased no signs of slowing down. Finally, on July 29 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, fans will witness the ultimate showdown to determine who truly reigns supreme. Crawford and Spence will step into the ring, and the answer to the question of who's the better fighter will be revealed. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on the latest developments in the world of boxing, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on any future content. We would love to hear your thoughts and predictions about the Crawford vs. Spence fight. Drop a comment below and let us know who you think will come out on top in this epic showdown. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
When I win this fight, there'll be no argument who's the best fighter in the world.